Hello, I'm Danny Barnes. I'm here today with Coach Johnson on the eve of the GNAC Track Championships, which will be held here at Western Oregon University. Coach Johnson, Western Oregon has kind of become the spot for the unofficial GNAC, the official GNAC track meet, but the unofficial host of the annual GNAC track meet.
Well, at least for a couple of years, we'll do that. And in a central location, people know what they're getting in terms of meet, and hopefully we can run the meet well for the rest of the people in the conference. We'll have the meet this year and next.
I know that you don't say the GNAC Track Championship is the final pinnacle of your season, but I know that this is a big event that you guys strive to get always to win.
Sure it is. I mean, the last time we held the championship in '08, because last year we were swine flued out, last year time we held the championship, we won the men's, we won the women's. It was a good, '08 was a good year. And we hope to repeat. It's going to be difficult for the women to do that. The men have a good shot. The men's competition, I think, is probably the best competition since the GNAC has been formed. Western Washington, Central Washington, Northwest Nazarene, Alaska, ourselves, everybody has people contending for conference individual championships. And I think at least 3 of those teams are going to be able to contend for the conference for the team championship. And the women's meet, then I think that the favorites at the moment would be Seattle Pacific, probably followed by Western Washington. I think Western's been hit by a couple of injuries. We've been hit by illness. Most of the teams have one thing or another that may limit a little bit of what they do in this meet. I think that Seattle Pacific's probably the healthiest right now. The men's side, I think most everybody's pretty healthy and they're ready to go after it. And so that's going to be a great competition.
And that competition was evident at the indoor track and field championships when Western Oregon pulled it off by a 10-point margin over Western Washington.
Sure, and I don't think it'll be any different here. I think the winner, whoever it may be, is going to be within 8, 6, 10 points. It may come down to the relay. If it comes down to the relay, I feel pretty good about it. But boy, there's a lot of stuff that happens before the relay. And of course, Alaska Anchorage right now has a top-seeded relay team. And it's whether they can, they've got some great athletes that are, some of the top qualifiers at the Division II level right now. And of course, so do we. So does Western Washington. It's going to be a great meet.
While you score points at every single event, you talked about the relay teams being a very important one right there. Tell me a couple other events that you see as being some of the keys in this.
Well, I think, key events is hard to pick.
Okay.
I think because the teams are so well balanced, it's going to be any single event can make a large difference. Any single event, we can see 10 or 15 point swing in the competition. So that's going to really, event to event, be kind of dramatic. Individual, I think certain events, however, the men's 10,000, men's 5,000, the women's 1,500, the women's triple jump, the women's javelin, maybe the men's javelin. Those are just great events. I mean, the competition is going to be very good in those events. You have other events, men's pole vault, athlete from Western Washington's, leading the country in the pole vault. And obviously, Jessica Pixler's, in events for Seattle Pacific, and she's leading the United States in her events. And so, there we go. I mean, it's just going to be a fantastic meet.
So
and the weather might not even be cold and miserable, and that would even be better. But I hate to jinx this by talking about the weather.
Well, hopefully that'll encourage a couple more fans to come out. I mean, there's not too much better than seeing some good races on a nice day. We have some pretty good seating up there to see.
That's a great place to watch a track meet,
yeah.
And you can get the venue is such that in the stands, the covered stands provide shade and good viewing. But you also have the opportunity to get down on the perimeter of the track. We have seating on the backstretch, and then we have venue seating at the shot put, and over at the discus and the hammer. For those venues that aren't right in front of the stands, we have venue seating for those, and so it's as competitive a track meet as you're going to see.
And these are very quality teams you've talked to me about before. The GNAC is a strong conference for
sure. They are, and The conference, in large credit, I think, to both the commissioner, his staff, the ADs, people in this conference are trying to step up. It doesn't matter what the sport is. Since we really formed this conference, some 10 years ago now, it has gone from being just a collection of the Sisters of the Poor to one of the real powers in the United States, sport to sport.
Fantastic. I know that it'll be a very interesting meet for me to watch out there, and I hope a lot of fans get out there as well. Is there any other big notes that maybe I'm missing on this GNAC Track Championship that you would want to make mention of?
Well, I think we hit the high points. I think we hit the high points on this meet, but I think the best part about this meet is the fact that every single event is contested. I mean, you have favorites in, say, Ryan Brown or Jessica Pixler in their events, but in the most part, you don't have real runaway favorites in the other events. And that and the fact that the team competition is going to be so tight means that sometimes 8th place is going to be just as important as 1st.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us on this edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm Danny Barnes, here with Coach Johnson, and thank you all for watching this edition of Wolves Weekly.